Hey, Kickstand Dan here. I'm 5 days away from boarding the plane and heading to New Zealand for the motorcycle trip 2025. Meeting up with Freeball and Colin and the Chief Brian, and we're flying to meet up with Beer Fork Brad in Christchurch, New Zealand. Our plan is to ride the South Island for 9 days, heading down the west coast all the way to the south end of the island, hoping to see a lot of beautiful countryside. I'll be riding a BMW 850 GS, which is really similar to the bike that I own. So hopefully the familiarity there is good, and if it breaks down or has some issue, maybe I have a fighting chance of figuring out what it is. Some people have asked me, what am I taking to New Zealand? And it's kind of an interesting question, so I figured I'd show you most of the gear that I have, that I've amassed for my motorcycle hobby has to do with camping. And of course we're not camping this time, and I'm limited on space. So I figured I would just show what I decided to take with me and how it's all going to pack up into this bag. Starting out, New Zealand has got some funky power receptacle. I don't actually know what this is called, but this is an adapter that I can use to charge my devices. I've got a number of cables that are specifically selected for charging the gizmos that I'm taking with me. This is a power block that it's got the magnetic mount that works with my cell phone and also charge my Apple Watch. This is a DC converter that plugs into the jack on the bike, and it's got two USB ports so that I can either recharge my helmet comms. I can also charge the charging head for my quad lock cell phone mount. This is what I'll use to turn the camera on and off, and also to navigate. Little helmet lock that I'm hoping I can attach to one of the crash bars. This will allow me to lock my helmet onto the bike if we decide to go in a restaurant or something. Hopefully there's a bar on the bike that works with this diameter of clamp. Something cool I got for Christmas this year is a monocle. It's like a binoculars. It's just for one eye, and so it's a little smaller. This feels kind of silly to take, but maybe there's a goat off in the distance that I want to see up close, and this will help me do it. These are called rock straps. Really cool motor straps that allow us to attach any bags that aren't fastened to the bike. You can cinch them down with these rock straps, so I'm taking 4 of those. My squishy pants, underwear that have a padded liner on the inside so that my butt doesn't hurt quite as bad at the end of each day. Neck gaiter. I've noticed recently that the wind on my neck sort of gets to bothering me, especially if it's not warm outside, so this should help take care of that. I've got 2 pairs of gloves. These are my normal warm weather gloves. They've got the knuckle and the I don't know what that thing's, this part of your hand. If you crash off, hopefully you don't tear up your hands. And just in case it's cold, I assume we're going to be going over some mountain passes. I've got some glove liners that go inside and will keep my hands warm on those cold days. Apple earbuds, AirPods, earplugs. These are pretty critical for riding. The wind noise in the helmet gets pretty loud, and these things cancel them out really great, but I can still hear our communication. We're talking to each other. I've got 2 Sena communicators, the primary one and a backup that mounts here on my helmet, and uses a mesh intercom, so I'm not sure if it even limits out. All 4 of us will be able to carry on a conversation real time, all the time that we're riding. Jonah's got the GoPro that I borrowed from work, but I've got a mount that goes on my forehead and on another one on my chin. This one's got a quick release and a magnetic attachment, which makes it pretty easy to get on and off. It's also got this kind of low profile mounting block, which I think I'll leave on full time regardless of whether I'm gonna try to record something that day. Baseball cap, Yellowstone Buffalo. I've got my Garmin InReach emergency transponder. This theoretically would allow me to send text messages to Tara if I was out in the boonies and I didn't have cell phone service. That shouldn't be the case here in New Zealand, but if somebody hurts themselves on the trip, then it's got an SOS button, and anywhere in the world it'll call for emergency services. I'm taking my iPad. Unfortunately, I don't want to completely be absent of work, so it'll allow me to check in with work once a day and download any decent GoPro footage that we've recorded. My tool bag is substantial. This is a BMW specific tool bag. It's got all of the tools that should mate up with the style of bolts and fasteners on the rental GS. I've got a couple of extra little goodies in here. Magnet pin. You wouldn't believe how much this magnet pin, or not this one, the Chief had a magnet pin on one of our rides a couple years ago and was able to fish some keys out of a storm drain and save the day. Pocket knife, some zip ties, a spoon for taking a wheel off and replacing a tire. I've got a tire repair kit. The tires on the GS rental are tubeless, so it's got a reamer and plugs and CO2 to reinflate the tire. Never actually done that before, but hopefully one of the four of us can figure that out. A rag for wiping my windscreen.
Yeah,
not my windscreen, my face shield. I've got a 1 gallon fuel bag, a giant loop. This is pretty cool. I've never actually used this before either, never had to, but I'm not really sure what the fuel range on the bikes are. We're each getting a different version. So if the fuel range on the bikes is slightly different, we might end up in a situation where somebody's range is stretched and we decide to take some auxiliary fuel with us. I've got a headlamp. I'm not entirely sure whether I need that, but it's small enough that I figured I'd take it. A tow buddy. It's a strap that allows for a front motorcycle to tow a dead motorcycle behind it. You just tie this to the front motorcycle, and the tow cycle, the rider just puts their foot on it and holds the strap between the bottom of their shoe and the foot peg, and basically if they want to let go of their towing, they can just lift their foot up and the strap flops out, and it's a pretty basic device. I've got a safety kit which has got some first aid stuff and a tourniquet, a couple of locks for maybe locking my luggage or something else that might come up during the trip. My digital air compressor. These things are amazing. I can set the pressure and plug it in, press the start button, and it will inflate the tire to whatever pressure I want. Some paracord, a little micro bit, small handheld ratchet set I got for Christmas. My entertainment, my Boom music speaker, and a jump start kit, which is also a power block. So if we want to charge any devices, I can charge up my phone or also jump start a dead battery bike. Boots, my riding gear that's got the protective armor in it, and then pants and a jacket that are waterproof, just in case, because the riding gear is not waterproof. And the last thing is I shoved my down puffy coat into a Ziploc bag. The weather report across the route in New Zealand is kind of all over the place right now, and I think there's days we might get rain. We're gonna be up in the mountains a little bit, and so I'm getting old, I'm getting cold, and so I decided to see if I could fit my puffy coat in. All of this stuff, plus some clothes, is what I'm taking to New Zealand, and it all has to go in this bag. Thankfully, I can stuff things into things here, so let's see how that goes.